It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone even if you believe in something very strongly. Courage originally meant to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. Courage will now be your best defense against the storm that is at hand, that and such hope as I bring. One does not discover new lands without consenting to lose sight of the shore for a very long time. Courage is very important. Like a muscle, it is strengthened by use. He who jumps into the void owes no explanation to those who stand and watch. Courage is the hallmark of spirituality. Courage comes when you love yourself for who you are. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. Sooner or later, even the fastest runners have to stand and fight. It does not take courage to kill. It takes courage to live. Without courage, wisdom bears no fruit. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Of all forms of caution, caution in love is perhaps the most fatal to true happiness. The best way out is always through. Only be you strong, and very courageous, then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. The greatest test of courage on the earth is to bear defeat without losing heart. To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. To not dare is to lose oneself. Courage is rightly esteemed the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees all others. I love the man that can smile in trouble, that can gather strength from distress, and grow brave by reflections. There is nothing in the world so much admired as a man who knows how to bear unhappiness with courage. Courage is doing what you're afraid to do. There can be no courage unless you're scared. Fight hard when you are down, die hard, determine at least to do, and you won't die at all. What separates the winners from the losers is how a person reacts to each new twist of fate. Never let the fear of striking out get in your way. No captain can do very wrong if he places his ship alongside that of the enemy. Trust the still, small voice that says, "This might work and I will try it." Never forget that no military leader has ever become great without audacity. Courage is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. To look at something as though we had never seen it before requires great courage. Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyway. We need to wake up from a thought that lasts too long. In the age-old contest between popularity and principle, only those willing to lose for their convictions are deserving of posterity's approval. To uncover your true potential, you must first find your own limits, and then you have to have the courage to blow past them. Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more, so that we may fear less. We need a backbone, not a wishbone. Stories make us more alive, more human, more courageous, more loving. What we know matters, but who we are matters more. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees the others. I beg you, take courage. The brave soul can mend even disaster. Faced with what is right, to leave it undone shows a lack of courage. Courage is the most important of all the virtues because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, "I will try again tomorrow." Courage is looking fear right in the eye and saying, "Get the hell out of my way, I have got things to do." It takes courage to grow up and become who you really are. You cannot swim for new horizons until you have courage to lose sight of the shore. Everyone has talent. What's rare is the courage to follow it to the dark places where it leads. Courage is found in unlikely places. Never bend your head. Always hold it high. Look the world straight in the eye. With enough courage, you can do without a reputation. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Bravery is being the only one who knows you're afraid. You can choose courage, or you can choose comfort, but you cannot choose both. Courage isn't having the strength to go on, it is going on when you don't have strength. Courage is grace under pressure. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Fortune always favors the brave, and never helps a man who does not help himself. The courage to imagine the otherwise is our greatest resource, adding color and suspense to all our life. It is courage, 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 that raises the blood of life to crimson splendor. Live bravely and present a brave front to adversity. Courage conquers all things, it even gives strength to the body. Without fear, there cannot be courage. Real courage is knowing what faces you and knowing how to face it. Keep your fears to yourself, but share your courage with others. The courage it took to get out of bed each morning to face the same things over and over was enormous. Do not be afraid. Do not be satisfied with mediocrity. Put out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch. There is no one more courageous than the person who speaks with the courage of his convictions. We ought to face our destiny with courage. Be brave and take risks. You need to have faith in yourself. Be brave and take risks. You don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Do not be afraid, because if you let these fears consume you, you'll most likely fail even before everything else starts. Courage is not the absence of fear or despair, it is the capacity to continue on despite them, no matter how great or overwhelming they become. Courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. Courage is a learned quality, an acquirable set of skills, a practiced competence. Do you have the courage to act outwardly on what you see inwardly? Courage is not the absence of fear but the ability to carry on with dignity in spite of it. The opposite of courage is not cowardice, it is conformity. Even a dead fish can go with the flow. What would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything? It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to our enemies, but just as much to stand up to our friends. Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. The most courageous act is still to think for yourself. Aloud. Be brave to stand for what you believe in even if you stand alone. Believe in yourself. You are braver than you think, more talented than you know, and capable of more than you imagine. Don't be afraid of your fears. They're not there to scare you. They're there to let you know that something is worth it. Courage is the hallmark of spirituality. Courage comes when you love yourself for who you are. We must have the courage to let go of the past if we are going to grasp the future. The opposite for courage is not cowardice, it is conformity. Even a dead fish can go with the flow. With courage you will dare to take risks, have the strength to be compassionate, and the wisdom to be humble. Courage is the foundation of integrity. My definition of courage is never letting anyone define you. Real courage is knowing what faces you and knowing how to face it. Courage is on display every day, and only the courageous wring the most out of life. All happiness depends on courage and work. Courage is very important. Like a muscle, it is strengthened by use. Courage originally meant to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. Have the courage to be who you are, not what people expect you to be. Genius is talent set on fire by courage.